I've got to put my hair up. It's just too much for me right now. Full disclosure, I did go put a little makeup on because I'm like, it may be almost 10 o'clock at night. I haven't really worn a lot of makeup the past 3 or so weeks, but you know, I'll put a little bit on, feel a little bit more put together for the camera. Also to make sure I still know how to put on makeup. And the answer is no, I don't. My eyeliner is way too thick and fucked up, so probably won't come across on the camera, but I also wasn't about to wash my face and try again, so this is what you're getting. Welcome to quarantine. Also, the coffee I made is decaf in an attempt to actually sleep tonight. So like I said, it's going on 10 o'clock at night. It is Wednesday, October. It is not October. It's April. It's April 15th. Golly, I have been home for the past 3 weeks, I want to say. Yeah. So our stay-at-home order is supposed to expire at the end of the month, and I've already seen in the news different states, different places talking about the plan to reopen. So basically just kind of waiting around to see how that goes. So I'm hopeful. I feel like at this point, going on week 3 or 4, I feel pretty well adjusted at this point. The first week felt like a low-grade panic attack for the whole week. It felt like the walls were closing in, like the walls of the world were closing in. It felt very disorienting and surreal, and I was watching a lot of the news then. Now, not so much. Second week, a little bit better, but still not so great. Now at this point, I feel like I have adjusted to, I'm not gonna call it a new normal because this is not normal, but the current state of everyday life for the hopefully short term. Basically, my sleep schedule, which was already questionable because I naturally stay up very late, so late it's the morning, and I feel like I had gotten it under control for a while there, but since being home exclusively, you know, aside from one grocery pickup, one post office run, and maybe a couple trips to the gas station to pick up a couple odd ends that I couldn't get at the grocery store or order, I am fucked in my sleep. Like, I'm usually now up until 4 or 5, almost 6 a.m. until I can fall asleep. Like, I'm tired. I'll get fucking tired. For whatever reason, I just can't fall asleep. Then I'm asleep till maybe 1, 2, or 3 o'clock in the evening or the afternoon, and get a few hours of sunlight, and I'm tired the whole time, and then it's nighttime, and here I am, 10 o'clock at night, filming a video. Hi, how you doing? I'm trying to be forgiving of myself because, like, I don't really need to be anywhere. I don't really need to be awake at certain times. Any time that I have to be awake for something, like, I'll be awake for it. So, I also have not really wanted or felt inspired to film anything since my last video because I think it is a work of art. At least the opening. The opening was great. If you haven't seen it, it's the video before this one. I built a blanket for it because I was watching a Unis Honest video, and that was the challenge, and so I did that, and then I was pretty delirious, and I only had the idea to do the opening sequence, and then once I got in the blanket fort, I had another idea to cover a topic, but when I started talking about it, I realized how sorely unprepared I was to talk about that subject, and so I gave up and then deleted that footage, and then what you saw was just utter delirium. If you've seen it, if you haven't, you should see it. I like it for the work that I did put into it in the beginning, and then like actually being able to make something of the gibberish of footage that I did have after the fact, so pretty proud of myself there. But I haven't really wanted to film anything because of what's going on. I no longer feel as anxious or scared as I did when things started to continually get more and more real. Shit was shutting down. Why aren't you focusing? Okay, I hope that fixed the focus, because good God. Should I turn you more? Does that help? You can see me in the mirror back here. That's real nice. I saved that mirror from the side of the road. I'm one of those people. Anyway, my intention when I started using my channel, because actually I've had this channel for quite some time. It has had a couple different names. Previously, it was the name of my tarot reading business that I had going on, my brand for that, Card and Coffee. I've since retired it, yada, yada, yada. I've mentioned it here and there in previous videos. One of these days I might actually like get more into it, but there's nothing really more to say about it other than some like internal things and like personal realizations and like getting clarity on what it is I want to be doing and how I want to spend my time, yada, yada. Definitely have more clarity on what I want to do. Great. And I've had clarity on what I want to call what I do. Great. And in that space, I have, and this is across my website, which I don't promote yet because I'm still working on it, across my website, my Instagram, Facebook kind of there, the YouTube channel. I've been in the process of refining some things for quite some time. Names aside, like all the names are there, like the branding, I guess, is there, but how I want to utilize each thing has shifted. That being said, YouTube, hi, hello. I started the year, or somewhere at the beginning of the year, uploaded a video saying that I want to document my life a little bit. I want to document things. I want to create videos. I want to do production. I'm a production student, a film production student, which I'm wrapping up here at the end of the month. Woohoo! Yay, second bachelor's degree. And I love video editing. I love it. And I need to invest in a new computer because good God, I've been doing this on a MacBook Air. And when I got my MacBook Air, it was when I was graduating with my first degree in English, and I was just writing and editing books. So honestly, similar skill set, different machinery needed for sure, hands down, but I'm gonna keep it in the Apple family. But when I made that video, I was talking about my intentions, and my intention just more so to be true to myself, whether that how I execute that changes or as I experiment with things. But as I started doing that and really kind of being like, okay, finding my footing, finding my pacing, and creating content on YouTube, I was like, my boyfriend's a musician and he's an audio engineer. I have a ton of friends who are musicians and artists. I have, creative people in my life. There are things that, I do, people I'd hang out with that I'm like, I want to leverage that in a good way, not in a bad intent, but in a good way to kind of showcase them because, oh my God, they're so talented, but just, savoring those memories, because ultimately when I am older, I don't want to look back on it and be sad. I want to look back on it with like friends and family and my future children and create new memories of like, oh, look, you can see me back in the day, me and your dad, me and your uncle, whoever, your aunt, whoever, like my friends who, I hope are still around then. And basically, what I'm getting at is none of this has gone according to plan. So with the shutdown of things, the entire country, obviously the trajectory I was going on as far as creating content has shifted. And basically, I haven't made a video since the last one, which really, as of recording this, was uploaded like a week ago, which isn't bad. But at this point, I would have already filmed something and been in the process of editing it to upload it within the next day or so, but I'm not. I'm filming now. I've just kind of backed off that because I never really thought that I would want to focus on this style of video, of sitting down and talking. My last video, as artistic and creative as it was sitting down and talking ultimately. I don't mind sitting down to talk. I don't mind talking about things. I can go on for quite some time talking about things. I wanted so much more for this channel, and I don't mean that in the, I'm just gonna keel over before I even really get going. I just thought that I'd have more, options available to me. And it's really kind of interesting to have those things taken out of context. I've been, working on some back-end stuff for GigCraft, but, I've also given myself the permission to, if I cannot stress about it, don't stress about it. When I was reflecting on everything, it's like, I do want to build a channel. I do want to be here and create content. I do like the production aspect and the post-production. And even with the handful of videos I've already done, I can tell how much better I've gotten at it every single time and how much I've grown. And I'm really proud of myself in that. Whether or not thousands of people recognize that, or even hundreds of people recognize that, like, that's fine. Like, really, this is for me. In that same vein, I want to share it, and I want to grow it, and I don't know where I'm going with that, but basically, this is not what I imagined the early days of this channel being active to look like. Does it mean anything? No. Are my expectations not met? Absolutely. Is that a bad thing? No. It just is what it is. And yeah. Oh, I'm up to 40 subscribers. Oh my God. I'm actually really happy that I hit that, because for a couple days it was at 39. I'm like, give me one more. I like an even looking number. And I'm really happy about that. I recently made this video public again because it is my only video with a good chunk of views for a channel my size. I made it like 2 years ago. The video quality is terrible. My hair was super short. It was back when I was in the earlier stages of growing out a pixie cut. I've grown so much since then. The content and the topic, I think, are great. There's absolutely zero sense in me remaking this video, but a couple years ago I made a response video to Morgan Adams, beautiful child, who had this run-in with a sidekick, and I was basically responding to it. And that video has like over 450 views. And for me, like I said, that's a pretty good number. And I was looking at my videos. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make this one public again, because why the fuck not? Why are you keep going out of focus? Is it really that hard to look at me? Is it that hard to look at me, camera? Like, good God. Like, I felt pretty confident about myself, even when I look like a potato, but goddamn, like, don't be rude. Also, it's been like almost a month of not eating fast food or like to-go food. There's been only 2 exceptions. I have yet to order a pizza. I have frozen pizzas in my fridge. Thank you very much. Will you quit not focusing on me? Is it because I'm moving? Do I need to put manual focus back on? Because I'll do it. You know, I'm gonna do that. All right, now you better behave. I haven't eaten out. I've been eating food at home and cooking a little bit, like not a lot. Mostly it's just like preparing things and like making a snack, making a sandwich, heating up a frozen pizza in the oven, like cooking for myself, like making food for myself at home, which is honestly completely new for me. So that's really dope. Hopefully I will keep some of those habits when some of the lockdowns and quarantines are lifted. I'm really hesitant to say when things go back to normal, because ultimately I don't want things to go back to normal at all. Like, normal, I think when people want things to go back to normal, they want to feel like it's safe to move about the world, but there's a few different layers of what normal looks like for people, and I believe it all has to do with your station in life. In reality, for me, I don't want to go back to normal. Normal for me for the past 5 or 6 years has been splitting my time between commuting to my university, working a job, then not working a job. I actually haven't worked a job in about 1.5 years. about a year and a half. Probably moving closer to 2 years. I haven't worked a job. I more or less work for myself. I work gigs. You can call it freelancing, but I've worked gigs more than anything. And hello, gigcraft. That's where that word comes from. Oh my God, my group chat with my best friends. It's not blowing up, but we're all up late at night, so they're all texting me. I don't want things to go back to normal. I want the structures in our society, big and small, that are outdated or don't serve us to crumble. I crumble, please. Clear out those things so we can build new stuff. And a lot of these things don't have to be that radical. This is the first time in human history this many people have been doing essentially the same thing, which is putting a pause on the life that we've known. So many people, not everyone, because there are essential workers that are still going to work, and thank you so much for everything that you do. People on the front lines, but more people ever in human history are at home and aren't using resources that we're accustomed to using, and we're also not getting the things we want when we want them. Like, we have all grown, like, we are all so used to and so spoiled by getting things exactly when we want them, and a lot of them are things we don't need or that it wouldn't be that big of a deal to wait on. And it's just very interesting to see what the world's gonna look like after this, how many of these things are gonna last. I really don't feel like there's just suddenly gonna be a back to normal and none of this is remembered. And I'm sure it won't be true for a lot of people. In some ways, some people will want to forget it, some people are gonna go back to their own ways, but I don't want things to go back to normal. I want a fresh start for everybody. Other updates, there really aren't any, you know, and you know, at this point, I'm going to challenge myself but not push myself, and just do what I need to do.